Aquarius, your blueprint is shifting. Build it your way. You are the sign that loves clean air and clear lines. You think in systems. You improve what is broken. And you are brave enough to try a new design when the old one stops working. Between 22nd September and 30th September, life asks you to do exactly that. It's like standing on a balcony with a wide view of the city you manage. You can see where the lights waste power, where a bridge needs repair, and where a new park could bring people together. This week is not noisy drama. It is careful engineering of money, work, love, and self. It's realistic hope. If you follow the signals, you finish the month feeling lighter, sharper, and ready to lead. The Sun and Mercury travel through Virgo, your 8th house. Mercury is strong here in its own sign, and it moves from the handcraft energy of Hasta into the bright design of Chitra Phase 1. Hasta builds with steady hands. Chitra carves a clean line and loves to show the finished form. Mercury had been hidden in the glare of the sun, but its combustion ends on the 30th, letting your voice sound clear again. The Sun begins in Uttara Falguni Phases 3 and 4, which give duty and repair, then moves into Hasta Phase 1 and 2, adding craft and reliable execution. The Moon moves from Virgo to Libra, then to Scorpio, and finally to Sagittarius. It was weak in Scorpio and crossed a sensitive gap as it moved into Sagittarius on the 29th. After that, it looks toward Jupiter in Gemini and helps teamwork and gains. Venus walks through Leo in your 7th house. It shifts from Magha into Purva Falguni Phase 1 and 2. Magha carries heritage and pride. Purva Falguni brings pleasure, art, and warmth. Venus is with Ketu, the South Node, which strips away show and asks for honest love. Mars moves through Libra in Swati Phases 1 and 2. Swati is the wind in a sail. It gives independence and smooth trade. Mars also crossed the ecliptic and formed a 30-degree gap with the Sun around the 23rd, a small jolt that encourages caution with impulsive action. Jupiter stays in Gemini in your 5th house in Punarvasu Phase 3. Punarvasu returns to what works and shares wisdom with a gentle voice. Saturn remains retrograde in Pisces in your 2nd house in Uttarabhadrapada Phase 1. That star is deep water. It slows you down and helps you store what matters. Neptune is near Saturn and makes fog that only facts can cut. Rahu is in Aquarius in your 1st house, pushing you to try a fresh look or new identity. Ketu sits opposite in Leo with Venus. Uranus is retrograde in Taurus in your 4th house, asking for home upgrades and modern tools. Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn in your 12th house, which slowly clears old fears and habits. The most fertile stretch for clean decisions arrives close to the 30th, especially after Mercury's combustion ends. The stretch covering the 24th and 25th is friendly for negotiation and planning. The 27th carries a sense of closure and courage. Be careful through the 26th when the Moon is weak in your 10th house and moods can distort career choices. Be gentle around the very early part of the 29th as the Moon crosses a sensitive seam. Also, keep margins around the evening of the 23rd when Mars shifts paths. If something must be signed, choose the end of the window rather than the early days. Your mind wants proof. That is good, because the one hard axis of the week places the Sun and Mercury in your 8th house facing Saturn and Neptune in your 2nd house. This is the classic picture of bring receipts. If a story about money, taxes, insurance, family assets, or shared dues sounds beautiful but lacks numbers, you will feel the wobble. The best mood is simple, calm, and accountable. Think of a lab technician who labels every tube. When in doubt, pause, gather evidence, and speak only what you can support. Another healthy mindset is the pilot mindset. With Mars in your 9th house and Uranus in your 4th, change is good when it is reversible. Try a small version, review the result, and then scale. Work favors quiet excellence over public fireworks. The Sun and Mercury in Virgo sit in your 8th house of research, risk management, audits, and deep fixes. Across the sky, Saturn and Neptune in your 2nd house test every statement with a ledger line. This is perfect for closing loose ends in contracts, compliance, and data hygiene. It is powerful for revising service agreements, refreshing privacy or security standards, and renegotiating shared costs with partners or vendors. If you handle legal, medical, insurance, or analytics work, you are in your element. Mercury's combustion made communication fussy earlier in the window, so proofread anything that was drafted before the 30th. After that, announce your result, publish your report, or push the product update. Your 10th house of status gets the moon passing through Scorpio and feeling thin around the 26th. Do not measure your worth by a mood dip. If a meeting feels tense, treat it like weather and keep your plan steady. By the 29th and 30th, the moon supports your 11th house of teams and gains and looks across to Jupiter in the 5th. This is a green light for presentations, training, launches, and town halls. Use simple slides, share numbers. Invite questions, and let your human voice carry. Mars in the 9th house favors expansion in education, law, publishing, and long-distance projects. It makes special angles to Uranus in the 4th and Pluto in the 12th. This asks you to carry a strong moral spine while you explore new methods. For example, if you lead a global rollout, write a 1-page ethics note and a rollback plan before you push go. If you study or teach, keep your syllabus flexible and your sources cited. Jupiter in the 5th offers mentoring energy. When you coach a colleague or teach a client, you cement your own mastery. Money is under strong classroom lights. Saturn retrograde with Neptune in your 2nd house pushes you to speak carefully and budget honestly. It is not a week for guesswork. It is a week for categories and receipts. The 8th house Sun and Mercury face this pair and demand clarity about shared assets, taxes, loans, payouts, and subscriptions. If you've been drifting with a payment plan, set it straight. If you owe a claim, file it. If a family asset needs fresh paperwork, do it. This work can feel dry, but it will save you stress later. Jupiter in your 5th house can reward smart learning and creative products. Money made through teaching, coaching, content, design, or research has support. The moon's movement into your 11th house on the 29th and 30th helps cash flow and community support. This is a kind window to launch an offer, open a waitlist, or run a simple promotion, especially after Mercury regains full voice. Venus in your 7th house can bring money through partners, clients, and the public. But because Ketu sits there too, only the honest relationships grow. Sales based on charm alone fade. Sales based on real value endure. Numerology colors the days gently. The 22nd carries the builder's number and love structure. The 23rd is ruled by quick Mercury, so double-check messages. The 24th tastes like Venus and supports fair prices. The 26th leans Saturn, best for settling dues and cutting waste. The 27th totals to 9 and wants completion. The 30th belongs to big-picture Jupiter and suits proposals that are backed by proof. This is a tender, truthful chapter. Venus in Leo warms your 7th house of one-to-one bonds. It moves from pride into pleasure, yet it travels with Ketu. This is a cosmic, gentle hand that removes masks. Your heart may be asked to choose truth over show. On the other side of the sky, Rahu is in Aquarius in your 1st house, pulling you to try a new look or new role. The result is a mirror game. Partners and the public reflect who you are becoming. Old patterns of chasing approval fade. Space opens for loyalty without drama. The Sun, as the natural ruler of the 7th house, sits in Virgo in your 8th house. Conversations can go deep. If you share a life with someone, talk about trust, money, and long-term plans with plain language. If you date, meet people with a clear boundary and a kind tone. If a connection is only glamour, K2 will let it fall away. If a connection is honest, Venus will help it grow. Health improves when routines are simple and repeatable. The moon rules your 6th house of habits, and its weak pass through Scorpio on the 26th can make emotions heavy or sleep strange. Use that day to detox your schedule rather than to force a new workout. Pluto in your 12th house asks for good sleep hygiene and quiet time. Saturn in your 2nd house suggests a clean diet and careful words. Think of your body like a smart machine. It performs best with stable power, gentle updates, and less clutter. If stress spikes, take a short walk without your phone and breathe like the wind through a pipe, steady and calm. Mars in the 9th house wants movement, learning, and distant horizons. But it is smarter to plan than to rush. Because Mars interacts with Uranus and Pluto, make every trip a pilot trip. Book options that you can change. Keep copies of documents. The moon's shift into Sagittarius near the 29th brings smoother feelings for travel and study. The best time to finalize bookings or send formal travel notes is close to the 30th, when Mercury is clear and the moon helps gains. Jupiter in Gemini in your 5th house is the friendly teacher. It helps you take a complex idea and make it easy to read. Mercury in Virgo adds craft and exact words. The early part of the window was loud with combustion, so drafts made then may need a fresh proofread. After the 30th, your mind clicks like a well-oiled camera. If you write, record, code, design, or teach, share something that solves a real problem. When the moon looks across to Jupiter on the 29th and 30th, your audience is ready to listen. Uranus sits in Taurus in your 4th house, asking for modern, simple, durable choices. This can be as small as swapping one clunky appliance for a quiet one, or as big as rethinking a room to support better work and rest. Saturn casts a steadying influence toward home matters. Use it to set house rules that reduce friction, like a shared chore board or clear sleep hours. If elders need care, keep their routines gentle and their paperwork organized. Home this week is a workshop for comfort with less noise. The meaning of this week is truth with kindness. The 8th and 2nd house opposition invites you to replace fog with facts. The 7th house story with Venus and K2 invites you to choose substance over show. The 9th house fire asks you to explore, but to explore with a moral compass and a backup plan. The 27th, with its strong completion number, marks a door of closure. Think of it as cleaning a drawer in your life. Old receipts go to the bin. Useful tools go back to the kit. When you travel lighter, you walk farther. Picture yourself as a city planner at dusk. Lights come on one by one. You are not racing, you are checking systems. This week rewards that calm, practical grace that Aquarius does so well. Speak simply and back your words with evidence. Sign important things closer to the end of the window when Mercury is no longer hidden. With partners and clients, be warm and clean. In money, be exact and patient. In health, choose routine over intensity. In study and creative work, teach what you already know and keep learning what you love. You are not just managing this week, you are shaping the blueprint for a clearer, kinder season ahead.